Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. Dollar ends lower on standstill in U.S. stimulus talks analysis http ntvforex.com news ID 89DCC 7814-2022 10:41 a.m. Market review 13/08/2020 NBSP 2342 GMT NBSP dollar ends lower on standstill in U.S. stimulus talks. The greenback ended the day lower against majority of its peers except the Japanese yen on Thursday due to continued U.S. stimulus talks concern as the Democrats and Republicans reached an impasse on recent negotiations. NBSP Reuters reported Democrat demands that a coronavirus relief bill include federal aid for the currently overtaxed post office and funding for the upcoming U.S. election have become major sticking points in negotiations for legislation members of both say needs to be passed soon, President Donald Trump said on Thursday. NBSP The items are the post office and the $3.5 billion for mail-in voting, he told Fox Business Network, saying Democrats want to give the post office $25 billion. If we don't make the deal, that means can't have the money, that means they can't have universal mail-in voting. It's just can't happen. NBSP and the initial claims for state unemployment benefits totaled a seasonally adjusted 963,000 for the week ended August 8, compared to 1.191 million in the prior week, the Labor Department said on Thursday. That was the lowest level since mid-March when authorities started shutting down non-essential business to slow the spread of coronavirus. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast 1.12 million applications in the latest week. NBSP versus the Japanese yen, although dollar retreated from 106.92 in Australia to 106.61 in Asian morning, then to session lows of 106.57 at European Open, price erased intraday losses and rallied to 107.04 in New York afternoon on rise in U.S. Treasury yields before retreating to 106.89 on profit-taking and then traded narrowly. NBSP The single currency found renewed buying at 1.1781 in Australia and rose to 1.1816 in Asian morning. Despite retreating to 1.1801, the pair later rallied to session highs of 1.1864 in New York on USD's weakness due to standstill in U.S. stimulus talks before retreating sharply 1.1794 in New York afternoon on profit-taking. NBSP The British pound also rose to 1.3073 in Asian morning before retreating to 1.3050. However, renewed buying emerged and cable later rallied to session highs at 1.3125 in New York on selling in USD before falling sharply in tandem with Euro to 1.3046 in New York afternoon on profit-taking. NBSP In other news, Reuters reported Ireland's Prime Minister Michael Martin said on Thursday he believes there is a landing zone to reach a post-Brexit trade deal between the United Kingdom and the European Union. NBSP Martin, speaking after meeting British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, said they had agreed on the absolute necessity for a tariff and quota-free trade agreement between Britain and the European Union. NBSP data to be released on Friday. NBSP New Zealand manufacturing PMI, PPI output, China house prices, industrial output, retail sales, Japan tertiary industry activity, Swiss producer and import prices, France CPI EU norm, CPI, EU employment change, trade balance, GDP, Canada manufacturing sales, and U.S. labor costs, productivity, retail sales ex-autos, retail sales, industrial production, capacity utilization, manufacturing output, business inventories. University of Michigan sentiment. NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://mt5.expert.advisors.